Soon, we will face a new chapter. An adventure unlike any we've known thus far. A mystery shrouded by superstition. A land of forgotten power. And ancient magics. And a people that may well change the fate of us all.
Hello once again, guys. Smokey McDude here, and I'm back on AceGamestv with another video. This time it's going to be a Hunter 5.0.4 guide, or a Mists of Pandaria guide, whichever you want to call it. Basically, this video is a very in-depth guide onto the Hunter class at the moment. That is basically everything you need to know. On the right-hand side, there is a menu. You'll be able to click on the menu. Each individual one will link you to the different sections in this video, because it's a very long video and you don't want to watch all of it. Or if you do want to watch all of it, you can click the Play All button, and the video will start from the beginning of specializations all the way through to jamming. So, guys, I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, let's start. Okay, so you've chosen specialization, so there's not much has changed between the ability to choose between specs. You still, of course, you have your Beast Mastery, your Marksmanship, and Survival Hunter. So what has changed is you now get your abilities at different levels. Of course, you no longer have to go to the training to actually learn these abilities. They're just given to you automatically on your bar when you hit the desired level. So I've listed all of the abilities on what level you now get them for each spec: Beast Mastery, Marksmanship, and Survival. What also I'm going to discuss a little bit about in the specialization is what currently is classed as the best DPS spec. So a lot of people are going to be wondering what will be the best DPS spec come the release of Mists of Pandaria, and what's currently now. I mean, it doesn't really matter as much now as to when MoP actually releases and everybody's at max level. So currently on the 5.0.4 system, Beast Mastery Hunters are slightly above Survival Hunters, and Marksmanship are slightly below Survival Hunters, meaning that the gap between a Beast Mastery Hunter and a Marksman Hunter is quite large at the moment. Just overall nerfs to different abilities have forced Marksmanship to one of the lower stands of damage class. Overall, Beast Mastery and Marksmanship and Survival Hunters have experienced a little bit of a nerf. I mean, you're going to notice it a lot more towards level 90. You're going to see that Hunters aren't one of the best top DPS classes. Still bringing a lot of utility with pet buffs and such, though. Currently, Beast Mastery is rated at the highest due to the new changes to kill command and just generally how the class has been modified. So that's pretty much it for specialization. Have a look at what now you get at the different levels, and of course we'll look into each one of these a bit more in depth as we go through this guide. Alright, so let's discuss talents. I mean, talent systems have had a complete overhaul. Everything's been changed. I mean, that 31-point talent system sort of thing is thrown out the window. Okay, it's all gone. We're now down to a much more minimalized spec option. There is no more real cookie cutter builds anymore. Everything is situational. I mean, of course, there are some specific ones that increase DPS depending on what spec you're playing. So first of all, we're going to check out the level 15 talents, which has been nicknamed by most hunters as the disengage tier, being that all three abilities affect your disengage. Again, this is a PvE sort of guide, so I'm going to be focusing on more of the raiding aspect than the PvP, but I will try and drop in some references to PvP during the initial confrontation with the new talents. So, at level 15, you've got the first talent will be Post Haste. Your disengage frees you from all movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed by 60% per 8 seconds. It's viable in both situations of PvP and PvE. PvP, it's going to be great because it's going to give you another sort of trinket, and of course give you that boost of movement speed to get away from people, meaning that they're going to have to charge after you and whatnot depending on what type of comp you're playing against. PvE wise, then it's going to be great because if you need to run really quickly, or you're in fire, disengage out, maybe you're still in that fire, you've got that movement speed, you can use it to toddle your ass right out the building and you'll be safe. So it's not bad at all. Next one we got is Narrow Escape. Again, PvE not so much, maybe for leveling, but not for not for raiding. I don't know, maybe. We'll see how it really pays out. We have enough, we have enough talents to CC mobs. I can't see us having needs another one. So what Narrowscape actually does is when you disengage, you activate a web trap which encases all enemies within 8 yards with sticky webs, preventing movement for 8 seconds. In a PvE situation, where the only way I could see this being used is say a group of mobs, a group of ads on a boss or a fight is coming in, or you've pulled an extra group of ads. Tank can't pick it up because if he picks it up, it's a possibility he could die. So what you could do is you could run over to them, disengage, back away from them, locking them in position for 8 seconds, yeah, for 8 seconds. So they won't be able to move for those 8 seconds. Hopefully that gives your tank enough time to pull the aggro and kill whatever mobs is left, and of course then you can pick them up. So it's a really good PvE ability as well as a PvP ability. I mean, imagine, you know, locking a DPS down for 8 seconds is pretty crazy. I mean, they can't move for 8 seconds. You know, that could be a kill if you don't want your target to move. It's another ability they're gonna have to use to get out of one of your traps. I mean, this mixed in with freezing trap, it's a good combination. I mean, they're gonna be stuck for quite a long time. You drop this on them so they can't move, and then you drop a frost trap or a freezing trap or whatnot, and right underneath them, they're going to get stuck in there right after it. It's a great ability for both specs, really. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Chimera reduces the cooldown of disengage by 10 seconds and deterrence by 60 seconds. Again, great PvE and PvP ability. I can't see why they're both viable. All three of these are very viable depending on what sort of situation you're in. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Chimera is really good if you know that you're going to be taking a lot of damage in a PvE fight, because lower cooldown and deterrence is going to give you that more mitigation, because you're going to have it up every minute now. And of course you'll be able to disengage more out of fires and stuff if you need to, you know, to get back in position. A lot of fights now without the minimum range, we can run towards the boss, pop disengage to get away from the boss when we need to move out. It's a great ability. It's going to be really good for PvP and really good for PvE. But of course, like I said, all three of these are viable for both specs, and it's all down to whichever purpose you need them for. So next we're going to be checking out the level 30 talents, which is what we're referring to as the CC tier. So the first one we're looking at is Silencing Shot. It's basically just a normal average silence. It's on a 20-second cooldown, lasts for 3 seconds when it interrupts the target. It's great PvP. It's going to be good against PvP for healers and such, and it's going to be great for PvE when you're, you know, a mob's casting something and you need to stop the boss from casting an ability. It's a great cooldown. A lot of interrupts now being given to multiple classes, but of course the overall cooldown on most interrupts is now staying at about 15 to 20 seconds, meaning that you're going to have to chain these a lot more than we ever had to do before. PvP wise, again, it's going to be able to interrupt those healers so you can get those people dead, so that's always good. Wyvern Sting, I'm not too sure about this. I mean, it puts the target to sleep for 30 seconds, and any damage will cancel the effect, and it's on a 1-minute cooldown. It's a very long cooldown for something that can be broken very easily. So, I don't know. Maybe if there's an ad that really needs to be left alone for a good amount of time, or it cannot be picked up, it's a good ability, but I wouldn't take it over Silencing Shot at the moment. And of course, Wyvern Sting no longer has a damage over time when it breaks, making it really easier to CC that target, meaning that you could possibly Wyvern Sting them into a freezing trap. I mean, something like that. But a minute cooldown is pretty high. I mean, maybe PvPers might use it more. I haven't really PvP'd that much, so I'm not entirely sure how you guys would use it. Binding Shot, it's not bad. It fires a magical projectile telling an enemy and other enemies within 5 yards of landing the arrow for 11 seconds. If the target moves 5 yards from the arrow, they're stunned for 5 seconds, 3 seconds of PvP. This is pretty good, because this can be used like... this can be used very well in PvP, because what it does, it locks the target. Because if the target's smart, and he has this debuff on him, he's knowing that he can't move, because if he moves, he's going to get stunned. So he literally has to wait for the actual cooldown to run out, so he can actually move. It's only 3 seconds, but, you know, why not? I mean, well, it's 11 seconds. It locks him in a movement speed for, like, a movement location for 11 seconds. Because if he moves within 5 yards out of that thing, he's going to get stunned for 3 seconds. So he knows that he can't move for those 11 seconds, which locks him down. You know, it's another movement Imperial effect sort of thing. For PvE, can't really see him be used much. I mean, Mob's AI is not that good, so of course it's probably going to trigger more. It's going to stun him. But it's only a 3-second stun. I mean, again, maybe in a situational purpose, it'll be something that we currently have to use, but I can't see it being used that much at the moment. Moving on, we've got level 45 talents, which are referred to as the Focus Regeneration tier. Each of them... Sorry, not the Focus Regeneration tier, that's the next one. This one is the Mitigation and Healing tier. Okay, so you got Exhilaration, which is great. I think is going to be good for both PvE and PvP, depending on the situation of the fight. If you know you're going to take a massive hit and you need to heal yourself really quickly, Exhilaration is what you want, because it heals you for 30% of your health and 100% for your pet. Only problem being, it's on quite a large cooldown of 2 minutes. I mean, Arena, I don't know, maybe. Battlegrounds, possibly, but I don't know. It's a good talent. It's a very good talent. I mean, for situational purposes, when you know you're going to take one big hit and you need to heal yourself, that's going to be really good. Aspect of the Iron Hawk, the Hunter takes the aspect of an Iron Hawk, basically. It still gives you the 10% attack power and reduces all damage taken by 15%. Yeah, I mean, this one's good for damage over time effects. Like, if you know that the fight's going to have a lot of AoE damage, a lot of damage over time, for a PvE fight, then this is going to be great, because it's going to mitigate most of that damage, well, 15% of it, help your healers out, help yourself out so you're not taking as much damage. For PvP, again, it's a 15% overhaul on, you know, damage not taken, so, I don't know, it seems pretty overpowered in PvP. It's something that, you know, a lot of PvPers I think are going to be taking because of that massive 15% reduction on damage. Finally, in that tier, we've got Spirit Bond. While your pet is active, you and your pet regenerate 2% of your health every 2 seconds. This is good as well for fights that are a lot of damage over time fights, again, because you're going to be continuously regenerating your HP every couple of seconds. I mean, it's like a brand new sort of thing. I mean, it's already been sort of in the game, but they buffed it quite considerably because of it was over 10 seconds, I think, 2% over 10 seconds, and now it's 2% over every 2 seconds. That's freaking crazy. That's 10% of your health every 10 seconds. Yeah, 10% of your health every 10 seconds. And of course, that's even more when you take into the fact that you can glyph it to give even more. So yeah, at the moment I'm swapping in between Spirit Bond and Exhilaration depending on what type of fight the raid's going for. Moving on, it's level 60. Finally, I'm going to get this correct. Now this is the Focus Regeneration tier. So during this, you have 3 abilities that are going to help you with focus regen, or minimizing the downtime of your character sort of thing. So the first one is Fervor, which instantly restores 50% of 50 focus to you and your pet, and an additional 50 focus over 10 seconds. So 100 focus over 10 seconds if you take it exact. 50 straight away, 50 over 10. Compared to a lot of the other abilities that it's given at the moment, it's not one of the best abilities. It's not bad. I can see a lot of people using this in PvP if they want to get off a big burst. Okay, so they want to get their pet maximized. He wants that pet to have focus straight away, popping Fervor. It's going to give you, you can blow all your stuff, and then you can spam Arcane Shot, and then you can pop Fervor and carry on spamming Arcane Shot. You're going to have like a lot of damage. So PvPers may definitely take Fervor at the point of this time. Dire Beast is a great ability. It summons a powerful wild beast to assist you in combat for 15 seconds. Each time the animal deals damage, you gain 5 focus. Alright, it's okay. It lasts 15 seconds, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. But the cooldown starts as soon as the pet's up, so it's only 15-second downtime. With this as well, it stacks with a BM's Mastery buff, so that Dire Beast is actually going to get more damage considering the fact that you have Mastery. So this is why, currently, for BM, Dire Beast is one of the best to take. Even for Marksmanship and Survival Hunter, most of them are taking Dire Beast, because it's a very good talent. Thrill of the Hunt is fantastic for leveling. It's OP for leveling and questing. It basically gives you a 30% chance when you fire a ranged attack that the cost of your that the costs of focus and or kill command to reduce the any range that costs focus or kill command will reduce the focus cost of your next 3 arcane shots by 20 or multi-shot by 20. Arcane shot only costs 20 focus, so this makes you have 3 free arcane shots. For leveling, this is OP because you're going to be able to kill 3 mobs, and by the time you kill the 3, you're going to have to get 3 arcane shots off. By the time you kill the mob, then the proc is most likely going to be up again for the next mob. And of course, it allows you to do more AoE. So in AoE intensive fights on raids, you're going to be using multi-shot quite a lot. So swapping from Dire Beast to Thrill of the Hunt for AoE intensive fights may be a possibility for most classes. Definitely BM, because BM's AoE is not slightly, it's hell of a crazy amount behind most of the other ones at the moment. So maybe swapping to Thrill of the Hunt is going to help you quite a lot. Moving on to the level 75 talents, which of course are the DPS talents. Finally, we get some talents that increase that damage. First of all, Murder of Crows. Murder of Crows is kind of good at the moment. I mean, I'm still not using it, but it's good. For MM hunters and survival hunters, it's actually the best ability currently for damage overhaul at the moment for PvE fights. It summons a flock of crows to attack your target over the next 30 seconds. If used on a target below 20 health, the cooldown is reduced to 60 seconds. It costs 60 focus, and it's 40 yard range, and it has a 2-minute cooldown. So it's a pretty big cooldown, but for marksmanship hunters and survival hunters, you're going to find that it's actually one of the best abilities to take, considering Link's Rush does not stack with anything for you. So Murder Crows does give you the beneficial more damage. At the moment, for MM Hunter, it goes, and a survival hunter, it goes Murder of Crows, Link's Rush, Blink Strike, in damage consumption, basically. Next ability is Blink Strike. Great ability for leveling. I don't know, I mean, maybe in Arena it'd be pretty good, but it costs an extra global cooldown. So every time you're doing a Blink Strike, you should be doing an Arcane Shot. So you're going to lose the Arcane Shot every time you do a Blink Strike. That's what you have to look at. So Blink Strike causes your pet to instantly teleport behind an enemy up to 40 yards away, and your pet can inflict 600% normal damage. It's a pretty OP ability, does a lot of damage when it's up, but you are sacrificing. A lot of people are like, oh, but I did 90k with it, man, it's OP. But you have to remember, you're not doing an Arcane Shot. So if you were going to get 25k on your Arcane Shot, you got to minus your 25k off Blink Strike, because that's what you've missed out on. Alright, so finally, Link's Rush. The reason why Link's Rush is currently best for BM because it stacks with Mastery. Your pet rapidly charges from target to target, attacking 9 times over 4 seconds, dealing 200% of its normal attack damage to each target on a 100-yard range, and its instant cast a 1.5 minute cooldown. This is ridiculous on bosses, because what you do, you macro it to Rapid. Rapid? Is it Rapid or Rabid? Rabid. Your pet's ability called Rabid on Ferocity pets. The Ferocity cooldown is 1.4 minutes, so it falls in pretty well with Link's Rush. So that gives your pet, at the moment, 25% increased attack damage. So that, with Link's Rush, makes it a lot, it makes it quite OP. It makes it very OP, actually. It was critting for like 64k on Heroic Mortjock. Every time it hit, so it was like 64k, 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 64k. I was like 500,000, and then like with readiness, you can boom reset it and do it again. Ugh, it's fucking pro. It's amazing. I love that ability. Moving on to the last tier. This isn't the level 9 tier, of course. It's still under experimentation and whatnot. We'll have a look at exactly how it works. At the moment, Glaive Toss is number 1, Power Shot being number 2, Barrage being number 3. Glaive Toss is pretty OP because of the 15-second cooldown. It does a lot of damage on AoE, and it does a lot of damage on single target. This is why people are taking it. I'm not entirely sure what people are going to be taking for PvP. Power Shot seems very good for PvP. It's on a minute cooldown, but if you're going with those triple DPS teams and you want to power someone down as fast as freaking possible, Power Shot does a lot of damage, and I mean a shit ton. So far I've seen people doing like 250k crits. But, I mean, that was just, I think there was something buggy going on there. But it does a lot. It does 800% weapon damage to the target, and 400% weapon damage to all targets in between and behind the target. Wait, is it behind the target? No, all enemies between you and the target. Enemies hit by Power Shot are also knocked back, so it also does a knockback. Imagine Power Shotting someone off a cliff in Arathi Basin. That would be awesome. Just boom, get off my cliff. Barrage is It's a channeled ability. That's all I have to say. It's channeled. It's shit. No ability you should be channeling. I mean, Volley was terrible, and now it's gone. So it's just Barrage is just a replacement of Volley. We don't want it. Just get out of here. No channel. I mean, every time you're channeling this, you're gonna have to channel it for 3 damn seconds. That's 3 global cooldowns you just missed out on. I mean, that's 1 glaive toss and 1 kill command and 1 arcane shot. There's no way Barrage is going to do the same amount of damage. It's just not going to happen. So at the moment, it's a choice between glaive toss and power shot, depending on how your playstyle is. And that's pretty much it for all the talents, guys. Right. So, rotations. My favorite part of most guide videos, because rotations can be interpreted in multiple different ways, and depending on who you speak to, they have their best rotation. So I'm not going to give you a best rotation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you some informational pointers that point out what helps rotations. Okay? That sounds a little bit better. Better than saying, this is the best. No, screw that. Alright, Beast Mastery first we're going to be looking at. So Beast Mastery, priority sort of thing. You want to use Dire Beast and Lynx Rush on cooldown. So as soon as they're on cooldown, as soon as they're up, use them. You do not want to delay Kill Command over Dire Beast and Lynx Rush. You want to make sure Kill Command is your first priority. You want to be able to use Arcane Shot when Kill Command, Dire Beast, Lynx Rush are on cooldown. Keeping Serpent Sting up on the target at all times, using Cobra Shot to refresh the duration. And now when it comes to the most important part, using your DPS cooldowns intermittently, okay? So you do not want to stack Bestial Wrath and Rapid Fire together, because both of those give you focus regeneration, meaning that you'll be over focus capped. Your best is to use Bestial Wrath as soon as it finishes, then pop your Rapid Fire, because then you're keeping up with the focus regen. You don't want to waste that extra focus regen you're going to get from Rapid Fire. It's kind of pointless. Another thing to do is Bestial Wrath. You want to keep all 5 stacks of Focus Fire on, a Frenzy on your pet when Bestial Wrath's activated. It will give you a bigger DPS boost when it's on your pet during Bestial Wrath than it will for you. If you don't have Bestial Wrath off cooldown and it's up, then use it, okay? It doesn't matter. But if it's Bestial Wrath is up and it's off cooldown, pop it, keep the Frenzy on your pet, okay? Don't use it. Alright, so I've been playing Beastmaster Hunter quite a lot, so I know I've dibble-dabbled and stuff into, like, what's the best opener, what gives me the best damage. So far, this is the one I've come up with at the moment. So, boss fight starts, boom, pop Bestial Wrath, hit it with a Serpent Sting, pop Lynx Rush, pop Dire Beast, pop Kill Command. Wait for Lynx Rush, okay? This is important. Wait for Lynx Rush to finish its duration. Lynx Rush has a duration. It's like 4 seconds, okay? So for 4 seconds, you wait for Lynx Rush to finish, okay? Once that's finished, you pop Readiness, okay? Readiness has now reset most of your abilities, okay? It's reset Bestial Wrath, but you don't want to use that again because you're still in Bestial Wrath right now. You've got about 4 or 5 seconds left of Bestial Wrath. So you want to use Lynx Rush again, you want to use Dire Beast again, and you want to use Kill Command. So out of 1 Bestial Wrath, you got 2 Lynx Rushes, 2 Dire Beasts, and 2 Kill Commands out of 1 Bestial Wrath. That's why that is OP. And you'll see you'll get a massive damage boost right at the beginning of the fight. Of course, it'll break down after a bit, but it will give you a huge, significant boost at the start. Of course, you can proc it, you can put into that, pop some cooldowns before you hit Bestial Wrath, but you don't want to hit Bestial Wrath and then start popping other crap, because it's a really tight margin to get all these things in. To get a Serpent Sting, which is 1 GCD, Lynx Rush is 2 GCDs, Dire Beast 3, Kill Command 4, and then pop Readiness, which is 5, Lynx Rush is 6, Dire Beast is 7, Kill Command is 8. So you want to try and get every one of those abilities in that 10-second period where you've got Bestial Wrath up. Sorry, Survival Hunter rotation. Pretty very similar to most of the rotation that we're going to look at, but Survival, you want to use Dire Beast and a Murder of Crows on cooldown. Yeah, you do not want to delay your Explosive Shot or Black Arrow over Dire Beast and a Murder of Crows. You want to use your Arcane Shot when Explosive Shot, Black Arrow, Dire Beast, and Murder of Crows are on cooldown. You want to keep Serpent Sting on the target at all times, using Cobra Shot to refresh the duration. You want to use Explosive Shot on cooldown. You want to use Black Arrow on cooldown. Remember though, when under the effects of lock and load, clipping will still occur, so you'll need to interweave other shots in between, mostly arcane shots. So, boom, Explosive Shot procs, hit it, arcane shot, explosive shot, arcane shot, explosive shot, arcane shot. So you don't get the clip in, and you'll be fine. Okay. So finally, marksmanship rotations. Pretty similar to most of the ones again. You're going to use Dire Beast and the Murder of Crows on cooldown. You do not want to delay Chimera Shot over Dire Beast and the Murder of Crows. You're going to want to use Arcane Shot when Chimera Shot, Dire Beast, and the Murder of Crows are on cooldown. You want to keep Serpent Sting on the target at all times using Chimera Shot to refresh the duration. You want to use Chimera Shot on cooldown. And you want to use Steady Shot in pairs. So you're going to use one Steady Shot followed by another. That gives you the 15% haste buff. And then of course you're going to want to pop 2 more steady shots before the haste buff goes off. And you do not want to hard cast Arcane Shot unless you're under effects of haste that increase your haste. Because that big long ass cast is going to kill your DPS. So that's pretty much it for rotations. We're going to be looking onto some more stuff now. Right, so Glyphs. Oh god. So what they did to Glyphs was they pretty much destroyed them for hunters anyway. They're not that good, but there are some that most people at the moment are referring to raid Glyphs. You know those Glyphs that you definitely sort of need, or they come up there. They're better than the other Glyphs for the purpose of raiding. So the first ones we're going to look at is the major Glyphs. We got Glyph of Animal Bond, which is while your pet is active, all healing done to you and your pet is increased by 10%. It's going to help those healers out, it's going to help you out, and it also stacks with Animal Bond, which is the talent that we were talking about earlier. So it's great. It's a win-win situation. For those marksmanship hunters, you might probably going to be taking Glyph of Chimera Shot, which increases the healing done by 2%, an extra 2%. So it's like 5% now of your health every time you do Chimera Shot. So yeah, it's definitely a good ability for you to take over the Animal Bond one, most likely. Unless you're going for a massive healing spec, which is probably what you're doing if you're PvPing. Glyph of Disengage increases the distance you travel when you disengage. It could be taken. I mean, it really depends. I mean, if you want to fly back a bit further, maybe it'll help you out in raid situations. I'm not sure, but it's pretty much voted at the moment one of the better Glyphs that are available. So next one we got Glyph of Endless Wrath. While Bestial Wrath is active, your pet cannot be killed, but is still damaged. Good for those AoE fights, I think. You know, those big AoE fights where your pet's going to take a crap load of damage and most likely die because you forgot to pull it back. It's happened to all of us, we all know. So this will stop it. So puppies or wrath, pet can't die. It's good. Glyph of Mark Death. It's pretty much going to be one I think every hunter spec's going to be taking. Means your Arcane Shot, Chimera Shot, Kill Command, Explosive Shot abilities automatically apply Hunter's Mark. It's going to save you that 1 GCD, so it's all good. I mean, that's the best thing. Minor Glyphs, it really doesn't matter. Like, they make no difference. Minor Glyphs at the moment, pretty much aspect of the cheetah, which is increasing the range that it procs for people to receive the buff, so it kind of helps that way. That's about it. You got Glyph of Stampede, which basically takes copies of your pet instead of calling all pets out of your stable, which is good for people if you're, if you don't want to help, reduce that lag. You don't want friggin' 50 of your pets running around like crazy. You'd rather have just one copy of the same pet. And finally, Glyph of Fireworks, because it's a firework, and who doesn't want a firework? Okie dokie, pet changes! Right, along with the hunters, hunter pets are going to get some substantial changes within the patch, within patch 5.0.4. Of course, every hunter right now would already know that, but you're going to choose at the moment whether your pet is ferocity or cunning or tenacity. Pets no longer have talents anymore, just like we don't. They just have specializations. Pets can now be changed from ferocity to cunning to tenacity at any time as long as you're not in combat. So this is good for requiring if you in a PvE fight and you need to swap your pet to a tank just to help out, then you can do it as long as you're not in combat. The most important ability thing need to be remembered now with the new pets is that the pet's growl ability has been changed and it now is a true taunt. This means that if your pet growls at a mob, that mob will be forced to attack the pet. While this ability doesn't typically work on bosses, it does mean that you absolutely must have growl turned off at all times, unless you really want your pet to be tanking. It also gives us a nice new tool to pull aggro off a healer with a pet taunt. It's possibly a powerful improvement on the pet ability, so use it wisely. And that's pretty much it for pet changes. So, raid and party buffs. I'm not really going to try and go over everything that we have here because it's quite in depth and the video is going to be very long as it is. But of course, hunters have always brought some buffs and such to the battlefield. Of course, now pretty much hunters can bring near enough every buff and every debuff to a battle. Quick recap of ones that you want to know of, they're on the screen. We can bring 5% crit, 10% spell power, 10% attack speed, 5% spell haste, 5% stats, 10% stamina, mastery, bloodlust and heroism, combat resurrection, 4% physical damage taken, 5% magic damage taken, slow casting, reduced physical damage done, 12% armor reduction, and reduced healing taken. So the short list of what pets you're going to be needing is a wolf or a hydra, a cat, a hyena or a serpent, a spore bat, a boar or ravager, a dragon hawk or a wind serpent, carrion bird or a bear, a raptor or a tall strider, a shale spider, which is BM only, Sith Lid BM only, water strider BM only, corehound BM only, Quillen BM only, and a devilsaur BM only. That's pretty much it for the raid buffs. Right, so some other changes that affect hunters that haven't really been covered in any of the other sections are on the screen now. Shots that are missed or dodged now only cost 20% of the focus they would have otherwise cost. It still hurts to be dodged, but not quite as much now. Readiness is turning into a default hunter ability that all hunter specs will have without having to spend a talent on it. Great ability, as we've already spoken about. Steady Shot and Cobra Shot will now generate 14 focus per shot rather than 9 as per Cataclysm. Yes, gotta love that ability. More focus, more arcane shots, and random other shit that we can throw out. Trap Launcher is now awesomely cooler. It now toggles on and off. It's basically every trap that is launched, if it's toggled on, will now launch, of course, and any trap sent out when the ability is turned off will drop at your feet. Hunters are getting a couple of knockbacks and missed. One is the level 90 talent power shot, but with the Glyph of Explosive Trap, we can also turn Explosive Trap into an AoE knockback. That's going to be pretty fun for Arathi Basin. It's going to be nice, especially for many people haven't even already noticed that that's changed. There will be no more resistances, no more spell penetration. Helm enchants are going away entirely, as will your existing one. There's nothing to replace this, and that's just fine. Oh well, didn't really like it anyway. Made my helmet look stupid. Worth stressing again, minimum range is now gone completely. Shadoosh, gone out the window. Goodbye. Your ranged weapon will now appear on your back. It's still bugged to hell, so if you're going in and out of instances, it just doesn't appear because Blizzard don't love you anymore. You'll find the menu for the pets now is located on the bottom. It's a horse head on your main bar next to the game menu. In the minibar. Minibar? Yeah, minibar. That's what I think it's called. Mini micro bar. Or just micro bar. I'm not too sure. Buffs and debuffs have been consolidated into a single drop down. The game will now tell you what buffs are missing if you're on a raid. No more pesky add-ons to tell you what raid buffs you're missing anymore. So we're going to take a look at Reforging now. Pretty simple. Beast Mastery. So Mastery is our least priority stat. Crit and Haste are our main stats, crit being first, Haste being second, Mastery being last. So what you're going to do, you want to reforge your Mastery into crit and Haste into crit. Unless, of course, you haven't hit the Haste cap, and then you don't touch it, of course. Marksmanship, Mastery is your least priority stat, reforge to crit being your main, Haste being your second. So if you have Haste on your gear, you want to either leave it or reforge it to crit. If you have Mastery, you want to reforge that to crit, or you have to reforge it to Haste if it already has crit and Mastery on the gear. Survival Hunter, Mastery and Haste is your least priority stat, so you want to reforge them to crit. So if it's got Mastery and crit on it, you'll reforge the Mastery to Haste. If it's got crit and Haste on it, you want to reforge the Haste to leave it as it is. And if it's got yeah, basically that's it. If you got Mastery, you just reforge it to crit. If it's got Haste, you reforge it to crit, and that's pretty much it. If you're not hit capped or expertise capped, which is 7.5% each, then reforge your least priority stat for each spec into, based on the stat, of course, until you are capped, because you need that 7.5% on either one to make sure you don't miss the boss or get dodged. With any new expansion, of course, new enchants have come into the game for the level 90 situational, with the level 90 changes, of course. First, we're going to be looking at what's the best enchants for currently that have been discussed for hunters, like what people are saying are the best hunter enchants. So the first one we're going to be looking at is Enchant Cloak, and we're going to be putting 180 hit on that with the Enchant Cloak accuracy. Boots, we're going to be looking at Blurred Speed, which permanently enchants pair of boots to increase your movement speed slightly and agility by 140. Bracers, you're going to be enchanting those with greater agility, increasing your agility by 170. Chest is Glorious Stats, increasing all stats by 80. Enchant Gloves, Superior Expertise. The only other one is to take Haste on here, and as Haste is not the best spec to take, Superior Expertise might be a lot better because, of course, we're going to be needing that expertise geared, you know, that expertise. We'll see. There is a Haste enchant available, but it'll be situational depending on what you need. Belt Buckle is the Living Steel Belt Buckle. It permanently attaches a Living Steel Belt Buckle onto the belt, adding a socket to it. For your weapon, you're going to be enchanting it with Lord Blastian's Scope of Doom. Permanently attaches Lord Blastian's special scope to a ranged weapon, sometimes increasing agility by 1800 for 10 seconds when dealing damage with ranged attacks. For your shoulders, you're going to look at Tiger Claw Inscription. Permanently adds 120 agility and 80 critical strike to a shoulder slot item. For the legs, you're going to be looking at Shadow Leather Armor. Leg armor, sorry. Permanently attaches armor to a pair of pants, increasing agility by 285 and critical strike by 165. And we've finally reached the last part of this guide, and that is gemming. So, gems. What are you going to be putting in that gear of yours, that brand new sexy gear that you just got, or you're going to get, or you're thinking about getting? Who knows? Red gems. So you're going to be looking at Delicate Primordial Ruby, which gives plus 160 agility. God, you gotta love seeing that, plus 160. Man, it's lovely. Yellow gems. There's different versions of what you can put in this. Of course, you can be in those yellow sockets. Of course, you can be putting Crafty Vermilion Onyx. They're very crafty. Plus 160 expertise and 160 crit. So you're gonna be using those if you're not that expertise cap currently. Deadly Vermilion Onyx, which is 80 agility and 160 crit. Those are going to be for the pure DPS if you're already hit capped and expertise capped. Deft Vermilion Onyx is plus 80 agility and plus 160 haste. It's going to give you pretty, you know, it's not bad. I mean, if you need the haste to get to the haste plateau, then definitely you're going to need one of these. Blue gems, these are only used really if you're not hit an expertise capped. So if you are, you're going to be putting red gems in these. So for the first one, you got Accurate Imperial Amethyst, or Amethyst, plus 160 expertise and 160 hit. That's going to get you that cap a little easier if you're missing out. And then you have Glinting Imperial Amethyst, which is plus 80 agility and plus 160 hit, so if you're not hit capped. Finally, got the Meta Gem, or Meta Gem, which is Agile Primal Diamond, which gives plus 216 agility, and currently, what is that, 44,797 S1% increased critical effect. I couldn't get the actual proper amount, it's still bugged at the moment, so I apologize for that. It's probably going to be something like 3% or some shit like that, who knows. That's pretty much it for gemming, guys. Okay, so we're finally done. That was the end of the video, pretty much, guys. I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I hope you haven't trolled me too hard in the comments below. But of course, I don't mind a good troll. So if I have screwed something up, please point it out, and I'll try and get an annotation on it to fix what I've made an error of. I'd like to thank the below sites for all the information they've supplied. I got a lot of my information from Wowhead, the WarcraftHuntersUnion.com, and of course Elitist Jerks. And don't forget the MoP beta, of course. If I didn't have that, this guide would probably not have even been made. So you can feel free to visit my YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/ow. I've just smacked my hand on the desk. No, it's not that. I really do apologize about that. So you can feel free to visit my YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/SmokeyMcDude, not the other one, okay? Use that one. Okay, guys, so thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again someday or sometime. Maybe next week, who knows? Until then, I've been me, you've been you, and goodbye.